This video, I want to talk to you about another tool that we use in men's peer groups. And these tools are transformative in the group, but they're also transformative in our life when we go out into the world and we use them. So whether you're in a group or not, this is a powerful tool and it's called commitment. Now, you know what commitment is, but let me just tell you how hard it is to get guys to commit, to get men to commit to a peer group, because they'll oftentimes talk about how busy they are and how hard it is to schedule. But in my experience in life, whether it's a peer group or whether it's going on a coffee date with somebody or whether it's a, engagement to a fiance, it never really comes down to all the circumstances and we're busy or, we need more money before we propose to our girlfriend. It usually comes down to something deeper that's going on. And certainly that's true in the case of peer groups. When you commit to a peer group, you're committing to never missing. We meet once a month, we meet for 4 hours, and that's a pretty heavy lift. Now, of course, right, somebody gets hit by a car, you're not going to be there. We'll change the group around for that person. But invariably, stuff comes up, and what somebody will say is, I have no choice. And that's not what they mean. They mean, I choose this to be more valuable than my commitment to the group. That's not okay. This challenges men so deeply. They'll say, hey, I have to go on a business meeting. And more often than not, it's that they didn't push back to their boss or to, the situation, against the situation, because that was valued more importantly than this relationship. Now, you could say, hey, B, that's how they make their living. I would argue that is more of a commentary on a man's character than it is on how he's making a living. And in my experience, the more he commits to a peer group, just like to his spouse, just like to his appointments and showing up on time and not missing them, or certainly going to the limit to try and make it work, is really how a man shows up in the world. And that's why we take commitment so seriously, because there are 9 other men around the table who are equally as busy and who could come up with something every month as to why they can't be there. But in my peer group, guys have changed their vacation dates to be at peer group. Guys have flown back from a vacation to be in the peer group and then gone back. Now, those are extreme scenarios. I get it. But what happens is eventually you start taking this absolutely seriously and you start planning your vacations around it. You start putting the rocks in the jar, that teaching, put the rocks in first and then the pebbles and then the sand. Because if you put the sand and the pebbles in first, you'll never get the rocks in. We have to have rocks in our life, core values that we live by, even that we die by. Can't have a lot of them. But the men in my peer group are my brothers. I've only known them for a couple of years, but I have gone deeper with them in 2 years than I have with the guys who I've known for 52 years. I have said to these guys, you're the ones who are going to carry my casket. I don't say that lightly. I only get like 6 of those guys around the casket. It's these 6 guys. So if that's true, and I'm going to give them the greatest honor I can give them in the lifetime, escorting me to the grave, God willing, it won't be for many years from now, then I'm going to take that relationship exceedingly seriously. And that's exactly what I do. Not only do I not miss groups, or I'll go to the end of the world to try and make it work, I don't show up late. I'm neurotic about it. And I try and be on time for everything, but I'm absolutely unequivocally on time for these guys, not 1 minute late. It doesn't hurt that we have a $50 fine if you walk in and you have to pay. And if you miss a group, it's $200. That incentivizes men. We respond to reward and consequences, and it's a consequence. Nobody really wants to fork over that kind of money, but it's really not about the money. It's about, well, in that situation, if I'm late to a group, it allows me to put down the $50 and not have to explain it. Nobody wants to hear your bullshit reasons of traffic or whatever else. So that is my way of clearing it. Watch the clearing video. And now I'm clear with these guys. I don't want to do it again, partially because I don't want to spend the $50, but also because I don't want to disrespect these men. Time is life. That's all we have. And what I'm saying to them, if I'm 5 minutes late, if I'm 50 minutes late, is I don't respect your life energy. and you've given it to me for these 4 hours, so I'm going to show up on time. What happens is even those guys who normally show up late stop showing up late. Again, this isn't just about a peer group. It's about how do you navigate the world? Do you take your coffee dates, your lunch dates, your commitments with absolute and utter commitment at the deepest level? Do you honor your word? So I'm rereading an amazing book, The Four Agreements. If you haven't read it, read it. The first agreement in this amazing short little book is be impeccable with your word. And that's what this is about. Commitment is about being impeccable. What does impeccable mean? Im is the Latin word for not, and peccos is the Latin for sin. So it's being without sin. Now, it's not sin as in you're a sinner. It's sin in the original, the Hebrew. I think in the Latin too, peccos, but certainly the Hebrew chet means, it's an archer's term, and it means to miss the mark. And so you miss the mark, you're sinning, you're off course, or you're out of integrity. That's to me what being impeccable with your word means. It means be in integrity. Make sure that your words align with your thoughts, align with your actions. Because a man who is living with that impeccability, you can feel when you're in the presence of a great man who takes his commitments absolutely and utterly seriously, who looks across the table from you and truly honors you, and not just in words, and not even just in, what happens in the conversation and afterwards, but showing up to the conversation on time. So for those of you who are perennially late, for those of you who have 1,000 reasons why, hear this: nobody gives a shit about the reasons. Don't show up and say I'm late because of this, that, and the other. Say I'm taking responsibility. I showed up late. Here's my $50, or here's my act of attrition. It won't happen again. Be the type of man that honors his commitments, from the little ones to coffee dates and being on time to the big ones and seeing the thing through. One last idea on this, we ask men to commit for 1 year because it isn't fair to show up a few times, kind of test it out, and you put the group in a difficult situation. And it's not just with peer groups we do this. When you commit to something, see it through. Now, it's not a lifetime commitment. Who can commit to a lifetime? Be impeccable on what you commit to. And by the way, that means saying no. I respect men who say, no, I can't do this peer group. I can't commit in that way. I can't commit at this time. I respect men who say that in a relationship to their girlfriend and say, I can't commit to getting married and I won't be proposing anytime soon. That's honest. That's real. That's courageous. And part of really honoring commitments is learning what not to commit to, for sure. But when we commit to be all in, to show up in body, mind, and spirit, to be the type of man that lives impeccably, and that's what we're here to do.